full-time job at Fixed Democracy First. So, and I live in Shoreline, and that's where I am right now, my apartment in Shoreline. Georgia?
Yes, my name is Georgia Davenport. I'm the field director for Whole Washington. I live in Eastern Washington, just north of Spokane. And I'm very excited to see all the people here tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
And I'm just going to call out, and in fact, let's have Masha introduce her real quick, but we're going to have her say a little bit more. So why don't you just do a quick introduction, Masha, and then we'll come back to you a little bit later for more.
Hi, you guys. My name is Masha Brown. I'm the new fundraising director, and I'm really excited to get back into fundraising. So I'm very happy to be here and just humbled to be working on this issue. It's very important and very close to my heart.
And you're in West Seattle, correct?
I am located in West Seattle, near Alki.
River just got closed over there.
Yeah, the bridge is not safe, so it's even more kind of quiet here in West Seattle, which is nice. It's very much more locked down, and nobody's coming down to Alki to party anymore.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah. Cheryl Ann.
Thank you. So I'm also over here in West Seattle, and I gathered signatures last time, and I am crossing fingers that this time we can make a go at this.
Great. Lisa?
Okay, Lisa Kanar. I'm in Seattle near Green Lake and Greenwood area, and I'm pretty curious about how we're going to go forward given the current situation. So I'm glad we're going to talk about that. Thanks.
Sean?
My name is Sean Kavanaugh. I live in the Central District of Seattle, and I'm just a volunteer, county lead in King County, and I'm looking forward to continue this fight in whatever capacity we do.
Great. Mark?
Yep, Mark Prue from Des Moines, South King County. Collected some signatures for I-1600 and am back to see if we can't do better this time.
Great. Justin?
Justin Baird. I am really happy that I can attend this meeting since I have been working Tuesday evenings for the longest time, but as you know, now I'm not working because of this shutdown. I did collect signatures for I-1600. I'm signed up to be a county lead, but so far I am clueless as where to go, so I'm really happy to be at the meeting so I can get my marching orders.
Great. Mariana?
Hey everybody, I'm Mariana Everson, and I live in Grays Harbor County. Montesano is this county seat, way out here at the coast. And I think I was pretty much leading in the I-1600 in Grays Harbor, so I'm looking forward to doing that again. I'm also a candidate for the state legislature for my district, LD19, so we'll be combining those efforts.
Great. Sorry I mispronounced your name. Mariana. Tanya?
Hi, I'm Tanya Atkinson. I'm up in Linwood, and last year I collected signatures for I-1600. I've been involved with the Green Party before and was really highly involved in a couple of different programs that Cindy Black was involved with ranked choice voting, but this is a very, very important issue for me. I'm also set up to be a lead for Snohomish County, but I think we have a couple of people in Snohomish County that are set up to do that. So I'm not sure as to who is going to take that mantle, but I'm here to learn more. Thank you.
Great. Terry.
Hi, Terry Lindeke. I live in Burien and friend of Georgia. I worked on gathering signatures last time and hope to do even more this time.
Great. Leah?
Jimmy?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm Leah. I live down in Clark County, and I'm like Justin. I signed up to be a lead down here. My husband's actually joining us tonight as well. And I collected signatures last time when we were gathering signatures. And I think it's more important now than ever with the situation we're in that we really need to get this moving and get the ball rolling.
Yep. Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I live in the Tri-Cities, Washington now, in Benton County, and I have volunteered to gather signatures. I don't know. I think Georgia told me once that there were some other people in my area who are volunteers here, but I don't know anybody yet. And I want to be a lead, but I don't want to overcommit myself. But I just, like you all share the concern and think this is so important, and especially right now. So I'm looking forward to doing whatever I can.
Great. Thanks, Kim. Blaine.
Can
Are
you
you
hear me?
there, Blaine? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go. Hi, Blaine Jensen. I live in Lower Queen Anne in Seattle, which was a great place to jump off to collect signatures for the last effort. I don't know how it is this time, but yeah, just a volunteer, and I will promise to be on camera for the next meeting. I wasn't prepared this time. Happy to be here.
No worries. Yeah, I make sure I'm taking a shower when I know I'm going to be on camera, Jennifer.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Jennifer Barfield. I am in Tacoma, Washington, and just a volunteer. And yeah, I'm off work, laid off, I think, with a lot of other people. So yeah, good times.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
Holly? Holly, you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm sorry about that. Hi, I'm Holly, and I live in South Renton, and I gathered signatures last time, and I'm also the treasurer for whole Washington, so I'm really excited to get this going.
Great, thanks, Holly. And then Carrie?
Hi, I'm Carrie Wallace. I helped gather a few signatures last time, but hope to be more involved this time around. I'm also starting a new position with the Washington State Healthcare Authority on April 1st. So I'm hoping my being in the belly of the beast will help one way or another.
Great, thank you. Andre?
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great, good to be here.
You want to just say your name and, well, you just said your name, but where you live and why you're here?
Well, I live in the Belltown neighborhood of Seattle, but I'm actually up in Snohomish during quarantine. That's where my girlfriend lives. And I am here, I think, for a lot of the same reasons you all are. I am a strong believer in healthcare as a universal public good.
And up a little bit. It's kind of.
I think that I see more evidence on that in the stereo. I don't know if I can turn it up. My internet connection's also a little bad, but I'll just try to speak a little bit louder. And
it helps if you want to turn the camera on.
Yeah, I am basically here to help in any way I can.
Great.
How about that? Is that any better?
Yes. Sometimes if your internet connection's not good, if you just turn off the camera while you're speaking, that does help a little bit. So go ahead and just say that again, because you cut off about halfway through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was just saying that I'm a strong believer in healthcare as a universal public good. And I think that the evidence for that is just growing every day. And that I really want to help in any way I can, but I'm a tech worker by trade and pretty savvy on social media. And so I've really just kind of stumbled on different ways to help, and every time everyone at Whole Washington has been really enthusiastic, and so I've sort of found more and more ways to get involved.
Great. Great, thank you. And I think that's everybody. I don't think I missed anyone there. So thank you all for being here. And as you can see, we have people from all over the state, which is really great to hear. I'm just really happy about that. And Leah, what was your husband's name? I didn't catch his name. I'm sorry.
It's Steve.
Steve. Okay,
And
thanks.
he'll be gathering signatures with me as well.
Great, great. Thank you. So before we jump into a lot of the nitty-gritty details, we have to talk about the big elephant in the room, obviously, and that's the virus going around and how that may impact our initiative campaign this year. I know a couple of people on the phone have been talking about possibly looking at if we can do something online to collect signatures. We're not sure if that's something that can be implemented on a quick basis because it would have to happen very quickly. Even in the best circumstances, it's hard to get some of these things done in a timely manner. So I'm not sure I'm not even sure if that would be a priority. So we are not opposed to doing something like that, but we can't count on that happening. That's the reality, that all of a sudden we're magically going to get a way to collect signatures online, because there's no way to do that. I know we've had representatives, Zach Hudgens has proposed doing something like that, doing initiative signature gathering online, but unfortunately that has not come to fruition. So we are stuck with the in-person gathering signatures. We've also talked, Sean, you have a question?
Is that collecting signatures online? Is that something the state would have to pass?
It would have to be something like, well, normally it would have to be a law that's passed or a ballot initiative. That's the other thing, you would have to do it that way. And there is some things tied in with the state constitution that we'd have to untangle as well. So that doesn't make it an easy thing to do. Though considering the circumstances, things might be a little bit different. Masha, did you want to throw something in there?
Well, I was just curious if, because of the circumstances, we could get some kind of an emergency change in the law to help us move this along and just kind of make it possible, just how people are able to work from home. Can they change the rules for us to be able to do our work from home and connect with all the people that are also at home?
And that's a question we would have to ask, and what would be involved with that. My big concern would be, even if they were able to pass that and say, yes, you can do that, would they be able to set up the infrastructure for us to be able to even collect signatures through the Secretary of State's doing that when everybody's on quarantine or in isolation? So right now there's some things, and I know that on a side note, I'm working with the national groups on a state level to actually preserve that we'll even have an election in November, because some people are concerned we won't even have an election or they'll try to postpone it. So that seems to be the more pressing issue around democracy right now. So how we collect signatures, I'm guessing that would not be a high priority for them, but we don't know until we ask. And I think it's worth asking about that and how that might work. But the reality is, say we weren't able to get that option. If we're not able to collect signatures online and the quarantine and social distancing is still going on within the next couple of months, it's virtually impossible for us to collect the signatures needed in that time frame without that extra time. The reason why we're doing it, the initiative to the legislature to begin with, was to give us more time. And if the virus takes away our time, there goes our advantage, and then we'd have to raise more money. So, but we do have a fundraiser on board now, and that is going to make a huge difference. Sean, I saw, did your hand go up? I'm sorry, did you have a question?
So are you saying that so we used to have a 9-month period to collect signatures for the legislature, and the other option would be the ballot to the people, which is more like a 6-month time period. Are you suggesting that if we get to a 6-month time period, if we're lucky, then we might just push it to 2021 when we try again?
Yes, that is one of the, and I want to let you know, no decision has been made whether we're going to not or go forward. I think we're all just waiting to see what happens, and we'll know more within the next month. if this thing is going to start dying down or if it's just going to continue to climb and we're going to know we're in quarantine for a lot longer. So we're kind of waiting it out, because if, say, within the next month things are slowing down, it looks like we can start gathering signatures in May, we think we can go forward with it and go for it. If it doesn't look like we can start gathering signatures until late summer, there goes our time, and it makes more sense for us to file next year and have the full length of time to do it. We would prefer to do it this year, but we know that with the virus going on, we just may not have that luxury to do that. So with that said, our plan B would be, say we aren't able to collect signatures this year. The plan B would be to continue to get pledges from volunteers, which we can do online, and raise money like crazy. That's why we decided to hire a fundraising director, regardless of whether we were going to collect signatures or not, because we need to raise money. So how we decided to do it, if we decide we aren't going to move forward, is we're going to take advantage of this time, use the virus to our advantage to be able to raise money and fully illustrate why we need healthcare, universal healthcare for all, why we need this program, and use the situation as an opportunity and give us a chance to raise money through this process. So if we do have to wait till next year, we'll able to be even better and stronger than we are today. And I told Georgia this, I go, if we do have to wait, we will be the most prepared initiative I've ever seen in the state of Washington. Let's just say that. We would have infrastructure already. We could get all the training done. We would continue meetings like this and just begin to just continue to grow that. And so we would take this time to just build the campaign. That is the backup plan. So, but say next month we go, hey, this thing's lightening up. We're going to be able to get back out. Festivals are going to get back in. Then we can get back out there, and then we can collect signatures. We are going to file. I want to turn it over to Georgia to give us a little bit of update. But before we do, is there any other questions about that? Because we are going to have more discussion. I just want to let you know what our conversations have been around this.
Well, I had a question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead, Tanya.
Okay. And so just looking at this, I would really, really hate to put it off. That idea is just like, but I'm wondering if there are ways that we can collect signatures with social distancing and observing that, especially if we have funding, so that we can have a place that people can go to give their signatures without having somebody else be there to sign or to hand out and show them how to do it, or guide them how to do the signatures at a booth or something like that. That's what we usually do face to face. But actually get people just to go to a booth to sign it up themselves.
That's the hard part when people aren't supposed to leave their houses. That's the dilemma that we have. We've also talked about what would cost to mail everybody a petition and have them sign it, but it's very cost prohibitive and the return rate is not good. So we have thought about all those things. I think, and we can still think about those things. We haven't made any decision. We're not going to make a decision for another month anyway. But that's why we wanted to let you all know what we're thinking, so we can put that out there, have a discussion, have you be a part of that, because we are still going to file. Georgia, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we are filing the initiative anyways, and we are going to go through all of the motions as if we were going to start collecting end of April, early May, just so that if by some miracle everything clears up and we can go to big events. Because to address your question a little bit, Tanya, where we get the most signatures for ballot initiatives is at large gatherings. So like Folklife Festival, Pride Parade, that's where we get 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 signatures in one day. So if those events don't go on, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to collect the 320,000 signatures we need. But let's say that it does clear up. We will be in the position we need to be to go ahead and print those petitions and start collecting signatures. There was one question from somebody about sending or having on our website or being able to email the petition to people so that they can print it out at their home. Unfortunately, because of the size of our petitions, because we have to have the entire initiative language printed on the back of each petition, we need a fold-out petition. I don't know if everyone remembers how large the initiative 1600 petitions were, but they were very large. So you need a special printer. You can't print them at home. But like I said, we're going to keep having these meetings. We're going to keep getting signature pledges and just cross our fingers that we can collect signatures. But in the meantime, we're also thinking of different strategies going forward just for this year. If we can't collect signatures, we can transition this county lead program to start pressuring legislators to take action, because they will start meeting before we can even file our initiative next year. So we have, 25 people on this call? If we can get people who've pledged to collect signatures to make a few phone calls, ask for a meeting with their legislators, in this unique moment right now, they might feel an extra amount of pressure to move forward with our bill. And then if they passed it, we wouldn't even have to collect signatures. That would save us a lot of time and money.
You know, one of the things we could do, I know that I was at the post office the other day. They actually put red tape down for every 6-foot increment. And everybody that came in was really pleased with that. And I can envision just a little booth that we could build with a spray shield, on it, where we have the forms there, and then ask people to come. We could make appointment signatory. People could come at certain times. So we limit it. I don't know. There's a lot of things coming up these days to deal with the virus.
I think the most logical thing the only thing that would really work for us to get the amount of signatures that we needed during a virus like this is to be able to collect signatures electronically. That's really, all those other ideas are good, but they don't give us the numbers that we need. And that's the problem, we need them in volume numbers. That's why those festivals are so important. If we don't have those big events, it's really difficult to do.
But there's no provisions in the law to collect them electronically.
There isn't. That's what I mean. We would have to be able to get an emergency provision to be able to do that. That's the only way we would be able to do it this year. But like Georgia said, putting a lot of pressure right now, using this situation more than ever, saying if right now this situation doesn't show the need for universal health care, what does? To be able to put pressure on our legislators to actually pass a universal health care bill in Washington state, we wouldn't even have to go forward with the initiative altogether. So it's a couple of different strategies. And if they didn't, we would be there right there with the initiative. Masha, I'm sorry, did you have your hand raised? Go ahead. I think you might be muted. I can't hear you there.
She's not muted, but I still can't hear her.
Okay. No.
And I just want to say, if I mute you, don't take it personally. It's because I'm hearing background noise. Just unmute yourself. I'm not muting people specifically. It's just background noise.
No, can't hear you, Masha. Nope. I'm not sure.
Maybe if you leave the meeting and then come back in, sometimes that helps.
And to be honest with you, we don't have all the answers. We just really don't. I mean, we're not really sure, just like everybody else, how this is all going to play out. We just know we want to take advantage of this opportunity, because I do see this as an opportunity for the healthcare activists and the movement to be able to push universal healthcare. And that's what I think we should be doing, regardless of whether we do it through the legislature or we do it through the initiative. Either way, we're going to take advantage of this. Masha, you want to try talking again? See if Can hear you? No. Can't hear you.
Maybe she could raise funds to get a better microphone.
Well, hopefully, yeah, you might want to.
Rich, unplug your earphones and try and use your audio on your computer.
Okay.
There you go.
No, we can hear you.
Oh,
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened, but my concern is, you know, with what they're saying about it being only essential reasons to go out, as important as this is, I wouldn't want to put people at risk to try to get signatures. Also, there's the point of we're not going to get the volume that Cindy's making, but I would hate that when our first concern is people's health care, that we're going to put them possibly at risk to get the signature. But I do think that we can really take this bad situation and make, you know, the most out of it. I really think that people who can give will see more reason to now. There's more firsthand experience for everybody involved, everybody that's a resident here, to see the importance of universal health care for our citizens.
Cheryl Ann had wrote, I'm not going to read all of that, Cheryl Ann, but if you look in the chat, she wrote a little bit about the what's the state of emergency law and how that could help us. Again, we would have to figure out how to file a petition and figure out how to do this, and infrastructure would have to be built in order for us to collect signatures, and it would have to be approved by the Secretary of State, since they have to verify the signatures. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we can make that all happen within the next 2 months. You know, I'm realistic because I know how the system works, unfortunately, and it's not fast, as many of you know. I want to turn it over to Masha at this point. Do you want to say anything, Cheryl Ann, about that? Okay. She put her hand up, I know. I wish it was an easy answer, and I wish it was easy to get people to do what we want them to do in power, but it's not. I want to turn it over to Masha, just talk a little bit about her fundraising, and I just want you to get to know her a little bit and what she's kind of got in store, because I know she's got some ideas going to how to raise money online, since we're not able to do in-person fundraisers right now.
All right. Yeah. So I'm really excited to be fundraising again. I kind of took a couple years off, and I was working in the cannabis industry doing a lot of branding and marketing. But prior to that, I was doing a lot of event management and fundraising for different local issues, whether it was like a local fire that affected some people, or a need for shoes for different food banks that were in the local community of Ellensburg, where I was working with the Civic Engagement Center. I was the director of special events, so we did a lot of varying events, whether it was, you know, benefit concerts, different art auctions, different ways to fundraise for different issues. And then after that, I did face-to-face fundraising with public outreach on behalf of nonprofits like UNICEF, Amnesty International, Plan International, San Diego Zoo Global, Nature Conservancy, and World Animal Protection. And then since, I've been really kind of itching to get back into the nonprofit world. I really enjoy doing this work. I really think it's so important to work for the people and to make sure that everybody's got their basic needs at a minimum covered. And so I've just been looking for the right place to kind of make my escape from where I was before. And so I'm just so happy, and just like I said, humbled to be working on this issue. I'm very, very glad to be here. And I am very excited to really use the situation to our benefit. I think a lot of times with universal healthcare, it's something that people say, oh yeah, it's a good cause, it's a good issue, but most people really can't understand why it's so important. And especially when you have your job and you get your healthcare through your work, or you have a certain situation where you just are never seeing it firsthand. And I think right now, even though there's still people that are being covered, whether they're working or not, and they have the healthcare options, they're really seeing the intensity and just the big issue affecting everybody that they know personally. And so I think people can really understand the importance of this so much more now. And so I think this is the time for us to really galvanize that, utilize that, and, you know, get money from the people that have it, and, you know, get the healthcare to the people that need it.
Can you share a little bit about, I know you were talking about some online fundraising ideas and how maybe the leads can help. We're going to talk a little bit more about lead responsibilities after this, but I want you to talk about how the leads can assist maybe in helping build and raise the money we're going to need to run the campaign.
Yeah, so our first project that we're working on this week is we're hoping to do an educational talk with a healthcare professional, somebody who's really high up and kind of has good prestige that will get people to want to listen. The first person we've gone after is Dr. Helen Chu, who was the kind of like whistleblower for the COVID-19 virus. Even though the government would not allow her to do research and check people, she actually started doing it anyways, and she was the first one to find the case here in Washington State. So right now we have a letter basically finalized. We're going to send it out to her tomorrow. I made some calls today to try to get in touch with her, but it seems like email is going to be the best. So I'm really hopeful that we're able to get her on board to do a free Zoom talk, but at the same time, we are going to ask for people to give if they can. So it is a free ticket to the event, but if you can give, we'll take all the donations we can. Right now that's kind of up in the air a little bit. So, I'm hoping we won't need a plan B, but we might need a plan B, and that would be another person that we can have for the talk. And that's kind of the first thing. And then we're also looking back right now at who in the past has said that they would be willing to do reoccurring donations, and we're reaching out to them in hopes that they can get on board with that so we can start to get some monthly donors and see if we can build from there.
The Cedar River Clinics would probably be a great place to start. I've got a contact person there. Okay. They're the largest abortion provider in Washington State, and they're well connected throughout the state. I don't have her card with me right here, but I have it nearby. The director down there, and I think their network would be great.
Love it.
I would imagine that she would be very willing to take part in that.
Excellent.
Cheryl Ann suggested Bill Gates as an alternative speaker if you can get him. I don't know. He was recently just on some video where someone was interviewing him, so you never know. Right now, he's left the board to do philanthropy work, so you never know. But I do think that's a great idea. If people have other people that think would be good to interview, because maybe we can do more than one of these. Have ongoing, expert testimony discussions and use that as fundraisers. And it builds more people interested and gets them on board with our campaign.
Yeah, that was the second thing. So the first thing was just getting the education and the information to people. And then also if there are people that don't know about the work that we're doing, then they're going to be connected with Whole Washington and see the help that we're already getting to our citizens and what we're working towards.
And so Masha just started on Monday, so it's only been yesterday actually.
Yeah.
So she's just getting up to speed, and we'll be coming up with some more ideas. But if you think of some fundraising ideas, and she has her masha@wholewashington.org email address now.
Yes, I do. So
Great.
Feel free to email me. Always, you can call me as well if that's easier. 206-369-2808, and I'll put that in the chat box.
Chat, that's great. And put your email and your phone in the chat. And so if you have some fundraising ideas, because it's going to have to be online, and via telephone and possibly mailings, but I think it's mostly going to be social media, email, and phone calls that we're going to have to reach out to people right now.
Something else that I'm really comfortable with is doing like a recorded, little video of kind of like, hi, I'm Masha Brown. This is what we're doing with Whole Washington, and just to send that out, because I think as much as, emails are good and they can be very helpful, a lot of times people want to see a person in front of them. People right now are all into, watching memes and little video clips. So I think that could be a great way to just kind of get our point across really quickly.
Great. And we had a couple other people join us. I want to point out that Sarah is here, and I'm sorry, I got to get closer. Kachiani, I'm sorry did I pronounce that right? I'm sorry if I did not pronounce that right. Welcome. And where are you from?
I just moved to West Seattle, like from Linwood, like 2 weeks ago. So.
You got a couple other people in West Seattle on.
Oh, nice. Now stranded here after the bridge closed. Yeah.
Yes, we were talked about that a little
Yeah.
bit earlier. And then Sarah, where are you from, Sarah?
Vancouver, Washington.
Great, great. So welcome to the phone call.
Thank you.
All right, so any questions for Masha? All right, so we're just so happy to have her on board. Trust me, we're all very happy to have her on board because it's really hard as being, part of the board and the leadership team to try to run things and raise money at the same time, especially if you have another full-time job. So it's really good to have her on board. And we think regardless of what happens, the goal is to keep her on all year and into next year, hopefully, regardless of whether we are able to collect signatures this year or not. So we'll be in way better shape next year. With that said, I want to talk a little bit about the roles of the leads, because I know that a couple of people this is the first phone call you've been on, and so I just want to give that a quick rundown. The goal of the leads is to have people in every county, and hopefully at least 2 to 5 people in every county. Some counties will be more. King County, we're expecting we'll have to divide that up into 3, maybe even 4 separate groups. But other places, other counties, if we have a team, then we have less burnout with people. We can work in collaboration. So that is the goal. We want to have teams. And so we're building that together. We have volunteers in how many counties now? Georgia, do we have volunteers that signed up to be leads?
I would have to look at the database. I haven't looked in a couple weeks, but I think we had about half of them covered.
Yes. Yeah, I think about half of the counties, we already have people signed up for leads. So the goal would be to start recruiting people in the counties we don't have. In the meantime, though, we want to connect people that are with the people that are already in the counties together. We want to connect you so you begin to build a relationship. And I know King County, Sean and Cheryl Ann, and I think a couple other of you have already met. Is that correct? Sean and Cheryl Ann, I think your King County group has already had a Zoom meeting, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we had a meeting last Tuesday, and there was like 6 of us. There's 13 total signed up. So hopefully we can connect with those other folks and get them on board and craft some ideas, connect, and build some power.
And that's exactly what we're hoping those teams will do, to be able to connect with each other. And then the campaign, hopefully we have enough money eventually to hire all the staff we need. And then the campaign structure will support all the leads. And it'll be a trickle down, not trickle down, I don't want to say that. It'll be more of sort of like, you have the steering committee, because the board is going to transition to a steering committee. In fact, we're right now, we're looking for new steering committee members from various parts of the community, including stakeholders from labor, business, healthcare, other community members, government groups, whatever we can do, we want to build that. So we're going to have the steering committee, and then we have our staff, and then we have the volunteer leads under that, and then all the other volunteers under that. That's kind of how that little flow chart is going to work, not trickle down. I didn't mean to say that. That's something else. Any questions about that structure or kind of where we're going with that? I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that because we did cover it in a couple of other meetings. The other thing we want to do, especially tonight, is I want to just open up for discussion about if we are able to move forward this year. We're going to have less time, for one. We're going to be behind at least a month if we go forward this year, maybe 2 months, the max. If it goes more than 2 months, we just can't do it. But say we are able to start collecting signatures within the next 2 months. I want to hear from the group about some of your ideas about how to build a campaign, bring on new volunteers, because volunteer recruitment is really important. The more volunteers that we bring on, the more we're going to be successful. And then also, if we want to look at the other side of that, if we're not able to move forward, what can we do in the meantime as well? Georgia and I have mentioned a couple things, but we want to hear some other ideas. So I want to shut up now and let everybody else talk. Jump in.
I have a couple suggestions.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I guess I spend a lot of time in sort of the online media space, and you know, there's sort of a lightning in a bottle quality to it, where a lot of the time you'll kind of feel like you're not getting much of anything, and then you can kind of get a big burst of attention. And so I think that we should be doing a lot of media outreach to online media figures. So there are a lot of sort of progressive news shows who I think would love to have a representative from whole Washington, probably could give, you know, a 15 to 30-minute interview. And there are also these new kind of crowd-funded progressive think tanks. And the two that I have in mind are Data for Progress and the People's Policy Institute. They, I think, could do some really good kind of quantitative work for us if we could establish a connection with them, and could maybe really help us understand where voters are, how to frame things in a way that will be effective, and really give an air of credibility, you know, like we've really done the math and we have something something trustworthy. And then I guess I have a few of these shows in mind. The other one is one of the really early reporters at Vox, who's a very prolific healthcare reporter, Sarah Cliff, and she works at the New York Times now. But she's actually from the Seattle area originally and might take an interest in whole Washington. I don't know if she's aware of it or not. So, you know, I think that there's a lot that we can gain through kind of aggressive media outreach.
That's a great idea.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I actually work in volunteer recruitment. So I was on a phone call with Volunteer Match today, and they're starting to do, they're open to the public, but they're starting to do, I think, every other week phone calls about volunteer recruitment, and they're open to consultants, nonprofit, like volunteers, to anyone. And I have to sit on them from work, so I can sit on them and also share the information with you all as well. And they are right now, so just some stats that they had, I just pulled up my notes from today. So in the past week, they've obviously had 93% cancellations, but at the same time, they're saying that while 85% of volunteers are afraid of getting ill, still 50% of volunteers want to help in person and 45% are willing to help virtually. So they still have a good portion of volunteers nationwide who want to help. And they have a high number of college students who are now at home who are trying to figure out how to mobilize and reaching out. And so they are starting to do work groups specifically around how they can help on their platform. And then they have that there. And so we can start something within Volunteer Match, and I'm willing to go and kind of show you how to start that platform. Again, because I have to do it for work, but there's now this like kind of immobile group of college students who are at home trying to get behind a cause for activism around something, and they will be here most of the summer because a lot of their internships and stuff are falling through. So that's something that we can definitely tap into. I'm going to be going with another one through Idealist as well. And so I'm specifically working on this kind of, how do we mobilize people? How do we engage people right now virtually and have that kind of training process so that whenever this clears, that we can have them trained and ready to go into the field. And I'm doing that for my job. So I'd be willing to kind of share with you the map that I'm using for that and try to copy that in a way that we can use it to get people in the field for signatures as well. So
That would be great. Is that something you could do, like a training, like a Zoom training like this? And
yeah, absolutely.
that'd be great. So let's talk offline
Yeah, absolutely.
about maybe having you do that on our next training. Because right now, I think we're going to do a training every 2 weeks for now.
Mhm.
And so maybe we'll have you come on and do that in 2 weeks and have
Okay.
that be a part of our training next time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, let's stay connected with me and Georgia.
Yeah.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
Great. That's the kind of stuff we want to do. I think Sean's hand go up. Go ahead, Sean.
I just wanted to say thanks to Katyana, if I could pronounce that.
I do go by Katya too, by the way. So
Katya.
That's easier. Yeah.
Thanks. I just want to say thanks for that. You just gave like hope, I think, to everybody with saying that people want to help out, that they want to either do that in person or they want to do that online. And so I think that just shows, this is a moment of crisis, and we have to, take advantage during this time. So I think what we should be doing is I think we should be talking to our volunteers. I think this is the time they're, at home if they're lucky, and not much to do. What a perfect opportunity to say hi, get them engaged, get them plugged in, and turn them from just regular volunteers into people like us who want to organize other people and mobilize, because we're not going to win just with a bunch of volunteers. We're going to win with a bunch of organizers and people who are fired up to go out and do all the work. So I'm looking forward to the trainings that maybe we'll be setting up. I think for just a start, we should, maybe in the next 2 weeks, hold a meeting with people in our zip code, if there's others around.
Yeah, we want to connect the people in your area, in your county, with you, directly to the leads, and we're going to be doing that with spreadsheets and things like that. Okay. I want to come back to Andre, because I didn't want to skip over what he said about the outreach and using, celebrity at this time. Healthcare is a big topic. I think we can reach out to and email people, phone call. If people are sitting at home, maybe we could get them to record a little message for us, and Masha can use it to go fundraise. You know what I mean? Just a little blurb about how healthcare is important. So I think using those connections is a really valuable thing we can do. Georgia.
Maybe that's one thing that the leads can do coming up this week. Tomorrow maybe is just take 30 seconds, do a TikTok video or do a Facebook Live to talk about Whole Washington and why you're a lead, and that sort of thing. And just like maybe put a link to our website so people can find out more.
Yeah, you can do little videos, and then if you know anybody that is like famous a little bit and willing to do this, then we can maybe get them to record a little video, a musician or somebody like that. Masha?
Yeah, if you guys end up doing it on Instagram, tag the Instagram for Whole Washington, and that's just at Whole Washington. And then we can reshare on that social and just kind of get the word out, get more people to see it. And I think it's a really great way for us to almost get more new leads, because it's so inspirational to hear other people's reasoning why they do this. And it gives people, it kind of inspires them to look into themselves and see why they care about issues and what they care about and what they want to get involved, especially right now.
We do have a TikTok account too, a Whole Washington TikTok account, but I don't really know how to use it very well. So
I've never used
Ask your kid to do it for you.
I've never used TikTok, but I'd be willing to try.
Yeah.
Stay on top of these technologies, right? I just want to point out, Mark had a question about, is it too early to contact media outlets on this? Not if we frame it correctly. I think that there's a way we can frame this and reach out to the media. So no, I don't think it's too early to reach out to the media. I think it's just how we frame it, like.
Do we want to sort of kind of come up with a coherent message that we would, use for that purpose before we each run off and go to our favorite media outlet and just start talking?
Yes, I think as a campaign, we should, and that was one thing we need to eventually do, is hire a communications person that would do that stuff for us. But in the meantime, I think we can come up with some messaging from the campaign. I know Jen Nye is doing a lot of the communications work, and we can get her to help with that. And also too, I think that if you have want to write a letter to the editor, though, that is perfectly acceptable. And I think that is something definitely that volunteers can do, especially now is a good time to get letters to the editor around this issue in. So I think that's something that that's a great thing for the leads to work on.
And feel free to email anything to me if you want to just have me fact check it at all. Georgia@wholewashington.org, and I'll put that email address in the chat. But I'm really happy to just read through, and if there's a word that needs changing or anything like that, I'll just let you know, and you can send it off.
And I'm aware that we only have about 6 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get other people in. Mariana, you got your hand up?
Our Revolution is doing a town hall this Saturday at 7 o'clock online with the candidates that are endorsed by Our Revolution, the national group. So that's me, Jason Call, Rebecca Parson, Chris Armitage, and Joshua Collins. And it's all about healthcare and whole Washington and Medicare for all. So that's 7 o'clock. I can put a link to the Facebook announcement thing in the chat.
Yeah,
when I get it.
Please do that. That's fabulous. So that means that we'll get a nice big plug there, and make sure you plug the website.
For sure.
I'm actually going to be on that, so
great.
I'll make sure to.
Hey, you're going to be there.
Okay, anybody else want to share? I got some background noise.
Well, I put my hand up, but you probably can't see it. Just a quick note on the TikTok world. Mariana Everson and I are kind of share this, that we both just recently discovered it, and it's I would say it's 30% useless, 30% fun, and 40% effective. And what's really effective about it is that the people who are good at it are able to get a very cogent message out in either the 15-second or 60-second format. And the people who do that well are really good at messaging, whether it's quick recipes, and there's a lot of things about healthcare and different things like that. And I am still too intimidated, because even though I know a lot about other social media, the people who do it well, they employ tricks that seem really daunting. So I'm climbing up that mountain, hoping to finally get there. And Mariana finally burst her bubble and went out and put out a really nice one. But I'll tell you that I just went on my TikTok while we were talking, and whole Washington went from 1 follower to 2 because I followed. So what I might do is, first off, are the pictures that are on the whole Washington site, do we have the ability to get the names of those people so I could get permission to share? Because one of the ways to do it, instead of just having my face, is you could put in a roll of different pictures, and it could be people at whole Washington events, nurses with pledge gathering, maybe, I don't know, things like that. And I could do that to do a TikTok to be my first one. But I would want to make sure first that I would have permission. Say if it had, say, your Cindy Black's picture in it, that kind of thing. So I want to know what the rules are on, say, capturing images from our website.
Yeah, so anything on our website has been, we've been given permission to have it up on the website. So I can't see any reason why it would be a problem.
Yeah, you can use those photos there. You don't need to get permission from each person for those.
All right, then I'm going to make that my goal by tomorrow to do one. I think it's better that whole Washington is in the front of it versus my mug. So we're going to give it a go.
Great. Anything else? These are some great ideas. Anything else? Go ahead, Kim.
Hi, I'm just wondering, I mean, I would be willing, okay, so I've never done TikTok because I'm too old, but I would be willing to put a video out on Facebook. But could we get like a small script or something? Would somebody be willing to provide that? Because I feel like I would just be sort of rambling and not, on point.
Kim, are you in Whole Washington Volunteers, the Facebook group?
I am not sure. I'll have to look that up. It's just Whole Washington Volunteers.
Yeah, and that's a good point. If you're not under the Whole Washington Volunteers Facebook page, go ahead and join that page.
And I'll link to it in the chat.
And the other thing too, if you can invite people to like the Whole Washington Facebook page, that would be very helpful too, so we can build our numbers. And it's really easy. You just go to the page, you hit the invite, it's on the right-hand side, and you can just pick as many as your friends to invite them to like Whole Washington. Sean.
Before we leave, just when you guys are coming up to make the decision about if we continue or not, could you fill us in on like maybe the numbers that you're looking at? Like, man, if we we wasted 2 months with this pandemic, but we got like 300,000 signatures pledged within that time frame, and we have 1,000 volunteers. I think we can go ahead and do this, or things of that nature. I think that type of transparency would be nice.
Yeah, we can totally, in fact, that will depend a lot on whether we can go forward. And so we do encourage people to continue to get pledged signatures. We're over 200,000, I believe. Aren't we, Georgia? We should be over 200,000 by now. Somewhere in there. I know we're right around 200,000 the last time I looked. It was like 196 or something like that.
Yeah, the last time I tallied, it was 196, and I haven't had a chance to do those tallies yet. It actually takes a lot more time than you would think, because we have two different forms that people use. We have the double the pledge, the first form, and then I have to add those together. And then some people put in like maybe 50. And so that doesn't actually calculate if they put in like text. So then I have to go correct all those that people have put in like other characters. So it takes me a lot of time to calculate how many we have. So apologies, I haven't done that in the last couple weeks.
Just know we're at around 200,000 right now. And really, it would be great if we're over 300,000 before we started it. So say we were over 300,000, we had 500 volunteers, we might be able to do it in the time frame, even if we lost a couple of months. But that's hard to say until we know next month. We'll know what our numbers are next month, and we can make the evaluation. If they say we're going to be in quarantine for at least through the summer, there's no way we can do it. It's just impossible to do it in that time frame, which means that we'll still keep moving forward, and we're not going to give up. It just means we put pressure on hopefully getting the legislature to pass it, and if they don't, we'll be right ready to hit the ground running for the initiative in 21 for the 22 ballot. Okay, we're after 8 o'clock, so I do want to respect everybody's time. Masha, want to take us out here?
Just 1 second. I am new, so I'm still kind of getting to know everything that we're doing and how everything's working, but I'm very excited for what we're going to be doing here. And I really like the idea of everybody sharing a little bit on whatever personal social media you use. I know everybody here probably uses something, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, even your email with your friends. It doesn't have to be a video, but sharing something from the heart of why this is important to you, and sharing it with, if you're a lead, with your volunteer network, or if it's just with your friend network, your family, your random networks. I've got a sisterhood network. I've got a lot of different groups of friends, but just sharing one sentence even of why this is important for you, and linking whatever, whether it's the website, the Facebook page, to Whole Washington, just to really, get our name out there. And then as we get these new events rolling and new ways to fundraise, it's just going to keep kind of building that momentum. And I think everybody knowing that you're a valuable part of this team, and you know, everybody has kind of like, you have that title, you know, don't be afraid to take, you know, a role in it and step up. Nobody, you know, everybody is valued here and everybody has a good idea. And just because we're all here, it shows how much commitment we have to the concept and to this issue. So don't ever be afraid to take that lead on it, whether it's even just standing up and, you know, bringing the issue to people's just forefront. Just, you know, scream it from the tops of the roof. Nobody needs to give you permission. I think we're all here with a good heart and we kind of know how to lead it. So just go with that and don't be afraid. That's what I have to say.
Excellent. That's a perfect ending, I think, right there. We'll end right there. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call. We are going to do this again in 2 weeks, though we're going to continue to hook you up with the other people in your area. Those of you that are on the phone that are new, we're going to hook you up with people that are already in your area. And so hopefully we can continue to build the team. Thank you, everybody. Stay well out there. Bye-bye.